It's your boy Charles Johnson. What up, world? This your boy Rico.
Hey, it's your girl Fancy Free.
And you tuned into the Bizy Show live. Rico, you tuned into the motherfucking Bizy Show. Right here on unsigned999.com. You tuned into the livest internet radio show in Oklahoma, period. Shout out all the busybodies of the world. Make sure you stay busy. Busybodies. Make sure y'all stay busy. Don't stop being busy.
On what you feel about the topic, Black Lives Matter, just like all lives matter.
I think that Black Lives Matter is an important movement, but because there are many issues in the black community,
Right.
when people say Black Lives Matter,
Right.
the backlash is, well, if Black Lives Matter, shouldn't they matter to you all?
Right.
Which is a separate discussion.
That's what
In the white community, white people kill white people. In the Hispanic community, I'm getting ready to take this off real quick.
Go ahead,
So y'all
go
can,
ahead.
I'm
Go
just
ahead.
going to take one in. In the Asian community, Koreans kill Koreans.
Mm-hmm.
Black people kill black people because that is the nature of humanity. You violently attack or assault those in your community.
Yeah, it's
So
all
when
about
people
proximity.
come back with that, well, if all Black Lives Matter, then why don't you all act like it? That's a different situation.
Right.
Black Lives Matter is specifically talking about the police brutality that's happening in this country,
Right.
which is disproportionate to young black males.
Right.
That's a serious issue. That's an issue that has been talked about since slavery,
Right.
Reconstruction, Jim Crow,
Right.
60s, 70s, 80s.
Right.
We have been
Knowledge.
talking about the same thing since we got here.
Exactly. Right.
So, you know,
Well, I mean, if we really
so
look
Black
back in
Lives
history,
Matter. Yeah.
who sold who to the ships?
Well, when we go back to that, in Africa there was slavery,
Right.
but also in those communities, if she was my slave, she could work her way out of that. It was
Right.
more like
Gotcha.
a indentured servant.
Indentured servant or
And, I,
prisoner.
and,
Like,
I'm,
she
and, I,
could
and I'm
marry.
not saying I'm the most
Like you could
knowledgeable.
marry. Like if you was my slave,
Right.
then you could work your way up. Now you probably be like, you know, put the seeds down. But you can't make it. You can't make it to the chief's house. But you could come from out of the ragged houses.
And I'm not saying I'm 100% accurate, but I mean, in my view of history and study of history, it was black people selling black people in Africa.
So
It was
but
Africans
when
selling
that happened,
Africans.
And
but
that
when
did
that
happen.
happened,
I mean,
that did happen.
it did.
But not at the scale that you would
They
think.
tried, right? And I'm not saying I'm not.
And it was also like that slavery did exist
Right.
before white people came
Yeah.
along.
Right.
We know that.
In Africa.
Yeah, in Africa.
In Africa,
Yeah.
but it was different.
It was
Right.
It was not-
it was
it was
not-
a source of work to make yourself better.
No, I mean sometimes it was. I'm gonna come to your tribe. I'm gonna take this land. I'm gonna
Right.
chop some heads.
You're a
The
prisoner
rest of
of war, you're
y'all
gonna be a slave.
prisoner.
But-
it was that, but it was not. You know, we're gonna take a pregnant woman in front of all the rest of the women, tie her up, and cut the baby out.
And it was
Yeah.
not based
In
on
front
race
of
either.
that,
Right.
and
It was not based on. It
race.
wasn't racially
Right.
based.
Right.
It was
just-
based.
If
It
you
was power.
if we conquer you,
It was.
Yeah,
you gonna be our slave.
yeah.
But you're gonna live better than you would have been somebody in
Right.
poverty in this land.
Bet.
Right.
Bet.
But
We gonna give you some clothes, you know, piece of blanket. or
yeah,
something.
you gonna get something. You know,
We gonna get.
But you,
you
I
get
mean,
to live with
sweet
your
potato
you get to live
shit.
with your wife and your kids. We ain't gonna split y'all up.
I feel you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said,
And
history
that occurred.
is not.
But at this
Right.
point, when we talk about all Black lives, you know, Black Lives Matter, and people be like,
Right.
all lives matter. Of course, all lives matter.
Right,
What the
right.
hell? I
Always
mean, what does
have.
that have to do with anything?
Mhm.
Right.
That is a specific movement, and it's very important to discuss because when you have poor people,
Right.
because The numbers are this: black people, brown people, and poor people.
I actually touched on the subject right before you got here about Austin. They're prisoning poor folk because they can't make payments, but they never gave them a chance to.
Right. So black people, brown people, poor people. Whether you are white, black, you about to get the business in the criminal system. But we know as black men, you could have a PhD in aerodynamics, engineering. It don't matter. You get pulled over, you might get shot off the top.
Lose your life.
Off the top. And that's a problem.
I hate to be the one to say it, but they call it DWB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just,
so
this just came from the Caucasian.
right.
I mean, we'll off kick it with you enough that we've been harassed, me, you, and James.
Yes, we have.
Just because 2 out of the 3 of us were black.
Right.
That's fucking bullshit.
I mean, regarding your statement about black people being pulled over more, I had pulled the statistics from the Bureau of Justice. And one of the statistics is relatively more black drivers, 13%, then white, 10%, and Hispanic, 10% drivers were pulled over in a traffic stop during the most recent contact with police.
Right.
I mean, 3% doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot.
You talk about those numbers.
It's a lot.
10 plus 10 plus 13 is 33.
Right.
And 13 of the 33 is black.
Right. And that's not to say that Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that other lives don't, or that police officers' lives don't matter.
It's not what the movement is about.
That's not what it's about.
Unfortunately, some people do think that way,
and that's a problem.
That is a problem.
That's just because you say black. That's all.
Right.
That's just because we're saying Black Lives Matter. Then it turns into it's racial. No.
Yeah.
But we have to decide because all lives aren't equally at risk.
Exactly. I don't have white friends who have to tell their white sons, listen, when you get pulled over, don't run, don't talk,
10 and 2.
don't do shit.
10 and 2.
When you ask for your mama, ask for me. Don't even ask for a lawyer.
Right.
You ask for your parent.
Right.
I don't have a white girlfriend who has to tell her white son that.
Right.
Every sister or brown woman I know who has sons got to give you the speech.
I've had it talk.
Do not run. And that comes, that fear that we have as mothers when we're talking to our sons comes directly from in slavery. When they held up a pregnant woman and cut a baby out the womb, it's instinctual. We know as women what they will do. So we try to teach our sons, don't do it, but they're boys.
Right.
And they're young men.
And
they don't want to be, they're young men.
Well, and then the social influence of music and TV and movies and video games.
I did my manhood.
I gotta prove, and they men.
I gotta be tough.
It's just
testosterone.
That's a whole.
It's like when
that's a whole nother man.
It's a whole. And then when the girl, it's like when the girl in Texas who was in the swimming suit. And the officer threw her down.
Yeah.
If you notice in the video, those boys didn't move until he slammed her on the ground. Then they ran towards him. They didn't attack him. They ran towards him because they're young men and they're watching a man throw a girl on the ground. And instinctually knowing that they could get shot. Guaranteed. Knowing they could, they moved towards her to try to protect her. And that was the scariest part of that video. That was the absolute.
You didn't know.
I was like, oh my God, he's gonna pull it.
I felt like that dude had his hand on his gun 5 times watching that video.
Right.
Well, I mean that goes with the girl that just recently got
the
slammed
school
down.
Video, which is really what
we're gonna talk.
I mean.
So police brutality. And the oversight of the police departments. It has to be done. And I don't dismiss what police officers do every day. They give their lives. They protect us. Look, somebody breaking into my house.
That's police officers.
Yeah, your cousin. We've seen your video of your cousin tackling the shit out of Broad in Memphis.
On Bill
I
Street.
love your
y'all.
fam, bro. I ain't trying to put him on blast.
On
but-
Bill Street, y'all.
Oh boy,
He
took
slammed the shit
old
out
girl out.
Listen.
It was like Erlacher coming across the middle. Boom.
Bam.
I don't dismiss
Done.
what
She was
cops do.
done.
Yeah,
They have a serious job. It's a hard job.
Every
Right.
fucking
You know,
day.
every
Right.
day. I couldn't do it.
No,
You're not gonna talk to
No,
me.
I would never.
I'm way too fucking emotional.
I would never want that
Pull my
position.
trigger.
Never.
Day 3.
I'd be one of them cops on the video. I ain't gonna lie. 'Cause
would-
I can't handle that.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't
That's
go
why
to
you
the
didn't
police
become a
force.
police
officer. Right.
And I'm not
Right.
running and jumping and shit. But that's not the point is.
Right down the middle.
I'm not doing it.
Right.
I mean, like,
right.
oh, you gonna
right.
oh shit, okay. Well,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But that's why I'm not one. And
Okay.
and for those who are good officers, and the good
Right.
ones do outweigh the bad.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You
I'm
know,
glad you said
I
that.
commend that.
Right.
But the bad ones,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not but, it's and. Because
And.
but
It is
dismisses what you
Right.
said before. And for
And.
those police officers who are good police officers who do their job,
Right.
you know, kudos to you. Thank you for that.
Right.
It's a hard job. The ones that don't, y'all got to go.
They
And
shouldn't
that's when
even
the
be in the
problem
field.
comes.
But how can we? So my thing is, when we're talking about good and bad police officers,
Okay.
how can we talk about the good ones being good when they don't turn into bad ones? It's just like when it's just
Right.
like, okay,
I mean,
you pick me up for
Like
selling
the
dope,
Kodak
right?
Eye type
You pick me
thing?
up for selling dope,
Right.
and you're like, okay, we gonna cut your sentence down, but we gonna make you turn. You know, you got
Right.
to turn in your
Yeah.
boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if they boy get caught up, right?
Right.
Shouldn't they be doing the same thing that they're going to
So-
be questioning
So
criminals to do?
Here's
I
the
think-
thing on my point of view from somebody who rushed a fraternity. I think it's somewhat similar. It's like a brotherhood.
Right. That's
Right.
exactly what
And
it
at
Right,
the same
right.
time, I feel like the good cops don't really work with the bad cops.
Really?
It's
You feel like
I
it's
agree with that.
separated.
No,
I
I
do.
agree with
I
that
absolutely do.
Well, yeah, hey. It
I
makes
feel
But
like,
I-
I
but
feel
I
like
do
they
think-
like if you're in a certain area of town, you're gonna meet a lot more of an asshole of an officer
True.
than
true.
if you're up in my motherfucking neighborhood in Nicholas Hills.
Right.
Like I'm sorry to
But
say,
I
it,
do
like,
think
we roll the east side.
that just like you can have a group of
Sure.
friends or a group of people that you're close to, and you
Okay.
know who ain't shit.
Right.
Same thing happens on the
Right.
list, even if I don't
Reach,
work with
Grace.
you, because I might not want to work with you because I know you ain't shit.
Exactly.
And I know you're not
Right.
doing that.
Fucking
Exactly.
But those officers